Okay, hello, it's me. Today I want to talk about the Grammy nominations because they're very weird this year. I hope the audio isn't horrible on this microphone. Um, they're very weird this year in a lot of ways. And I feel like I just need to talk about them. I don't know if anyone's gonna watch this, but I literally like need to rant about them, and no one in my life like cares enough. This isn't unscripted on like research, just going off my opinions, what I know. So sorry, this is like a shitty video. I literally just need to rant. So let's talk about them. I think we should talk about two of the main things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the weekend, and I want to talk about Lord. Um, Specifically Lord, but because like that's like my personal like I'm angry, but like that's okay. It's okay. We all get angry sometimes, but like yeah. Let's talk about the weekend first. I think the strange thing about the weekend's situation is like, do the Grammys just hate him? I don't know. Like it's strange. It's very strange. So like if you don't know the weekend and Grammys lore is that in 2020 The Weeknd was not nominated for anything despite having honestly like the biggest album of the year that year, at least I feel like, in the biggest song of the year with Blinding Lights, and honestly I'd say one of the biggest songs ever. I think it's still the biggest Hot 100 hit unless a bar song by Shabuzi surpassed it, but like it at least was for a while. I think it's the most streamed song of all time. Um, and it wasn't nominated for anything, not even Blinding Lights. Like nothing was nominated. And at the time in the Grammys, like they had like these like little um committees that would like approve all the nominations, and it was like basically like a committee of like five like rich white men, and so like it kind of made what like the big academy did like do like kind of dormant. It was kind of like the electoral college if you think about it. Not really, but like in the sense that like like in the sense that like and so like what he was saying is that like it makes these committees full of old white men makes it harder for black artists to be nominated, and it was honestly very kind of like in a sense like racially like yeah like it was like racially charged that he wasn't nominated. Like if Ed Sheeran come out with the same song, he would have been nominated 12 times. It's like the thing, and it was a very interesting thing to happen in a year where they like the Grammys are very much like trying to be woke. Like the Grammys are like always trying to be like woke, but like they don't it doesn't really work a lot of times because like and it's like some a lot of the people at the Grammys are still like old rich white men in the music industry. Like they're just not like progressive in a lot of ways, even though they try to be. But it's because like they were all this drama was happening the weekend, but at the same time like that was a year that like I Can't Breathe by her won Song of the Year, and Black Parade by Beyonce was nominated and like everything. And that doesn't like make what they did to the weekend any better, honestly, only shows how kind of fake they are, because it's like weird that like they did that and then completely ignored one of the biggest artists of the year. And what he was saying is that he was probably nominated in a lot of these categories before it like went through this committee. I don't, there was like a name for this committee. I honestly didn't look it up before this. Whatever. Um, and so he was mad about that. He was like, "I'm not submitting to the Grammys." I don't know if he said ever again or if he said until they get rid of these committees. Anyway, that happened. It was a big drama. Everyone kind of thought like the weekend would never like make up for the Grammys. With the Grammys, and honestly, he had such a good reason to be pissed that like I completely would have understood if he never gave them the light of day again. I just burped. Sorry. um. Anyway, last year like the Grammys did this whole thing about how like there's like this special guest performance. No one really knew what it was. Um, and the surprise performance ended up being The Weekend, and he sang "Cry for Me" from his new album, and I think also Timeless with Playboy Cardi, both songs that were like relatively big hits this year and that he submitted for multiple categories. And so I thought like they made this whole thing about like making up with The Weeknd and how The Weeknd was going to submit his music again. So I thought I was like, there's no way they can do that and then not nominate The Weeknd. And so I actually had The Weeknd down um, in my nominations for like as guarantee nominations in my nomination predictions. I had The Weeknd down in like every category he submitted in, not every single one, but most of them, all the general field, all of the pop categories. Like I was like sure, like he was guaranteed nomination and honestly strong contender for winning a lot of them, like especially stuff like pop duo group or like record of the year. Like I was thinking that he was in a good. I knew they would have to give him something. But no, they didn't even nominate him for anything. Like I thought it would be like crazy if they did that whole thing and then they didn't give him a Grammy after that. They didn't nominate him for a single thing again, which is insane. And it's like interesting. I want to see if The Weeknd like will say anything. I don't think he will. Will he? And I wonder if he's gonna submit his music to the Grammys again. This year, it makes a little bit more sense that he wasn't nominated. Um, but also like not like I want to go through some of the categories later, and I think some of the stuff that got nominated like it's a little. I was not expecting it to get nominated in certain categories, especially like in album of the year and stuff like that. But he didn't have like as big of a year as he did like After Hours, but he still had a good year. Like I still think he submitted Timeless for like record of the year, and I think like that should have happened. And I think like I could see Cry for Me getting nominated for pop solo performance. Like I feel like there is a lot. He submitted for like a lot of things. Like I think him, and his team like also thought that he was like guaranteed some nominations. So he kind of submitted for like every category that he could possibly submit for. He submitted for like melodic rap performance. I don't know if he submitted like Timeless for that or something else, but like um he submitted for like everything. Um and so it is very surprising that he didn't get nominated. I've been speaking to the mic the wrong way, but whatever. Um, so I think that's crazy. That's kind of what I have to say about it. I think it's really crazy. Like I'm not like thinking that like I honestly think he should have won album of the year in 2020. I feel like that was the album that represented that year. I love folklore. You can see like I love Taylor Swift on my wall. It's inverted, so I can't tell. But like, um, I love folklore, and I think it's a great album. I think it's honestly in terms of what was not nominated that year, it kind of deserved it. But like, I think After Hours kind of. I wouldn't have. The strange thing is, I was like expecting like Weekend to be nominated for everything, and I was expecting like Weekend to win everything that year. Like I was expecting like at least like a Blinding Lights um record song year. It's part of a bigger issue that like the Grammys kind of like is much more picky with artists of color. Like they kind of pick certain ones that they like and then they just like completely ignore other ones, and they kind of almost always ignored The Weeknd. Like he's gotten some nominations, but like I don't know. They've just been very weird with The Weeknd, even though he's been a very impactful and very popular artist. It's not really my place to like really speak on it, but it's just like something noticeable. Um, and he honestly has such a right to be pissed. Like I don't really know where it's gonna go from here if he's gonna submit to the Grammys again, and it's gonna be interesting to see. I also apparently this album was supposed to be his last project under the title The Weekend, so I don't know where he's going with his career after this. I don't really keep up with him like that much. Um, but so I don't know. Like it's interesting to see what him and his relationship with the Grammys are. I don't know if the Grammys are just like pissed at him now. Like, are they just like trying to like play a joke on him or something? They're like, oh, like let's make a big thing about him, like reconcile with him and let him perform and hype him up. and then not nominate him. Because despite how they did get rid of those like committees and stuff like that, and they expanded the academy a lot. There's like over 13,000 members of the academy now. Um they I still think at the end of the day, there's still people kind of like approving the nominations, and like if the Grammys has something against someone, like they're probably not going to nominate them. Um, and that brings me to Lord. That brings me to Lord. So you don't know, if you're not a friend watching this, I love Lord so much. She's like my everything. I've seen her live 4 times. I'm seeing her for fifth time in December. Um, and I just love Lord. I connect with her music so much. And the Grammys initially loved Lord too. As with her first album, she was kind of giving like Grammy darling in the sense that she won, I think, Song of the Year and Pop Solo Performance that year. Um, Interesting that she didn't win Best New Artist. I actually haven't looked at her Grammy nominations. Like, was she nominated for Best New Artist? Who won Best New Artist? See, this is why I research. But I honestly made this video for me. But she's 2-time Grammy winner, and like people thought she was really snubbed at the. I thought she was really snubbed at the 2018 Grammys for Melodrama. She got an Album of the Year nomination, and she didn't win. And she was nominated for nothing else. It's very strange. It rarely happens that you're nominated for Album of the Year, like nothing else. It does happen sometimes. It happened with like Taylor Swift and Evermore. Um, but like Greenlight getting no nominations and not getting a pop vocal album nomination was very strange. And then it losing to Bruno Mars' album, which like no offense, like Bruno Mars and that album was really big, but like I just love Melodrama so much. I understand why 24 Karat Magic won that year, but at the time, oh, I was mad. Um, but I honestly kind of understand now. I do think Melodrama is like the better album, but that 24 Karat Magic album by Bruno Mars was giant. Anyway, so her beef with the Grammys is that she went to she that year she was upset um because every single other album of the year nominee was offered a spot to perform during the show, and she wasn't, and she was also the only woman in the category, which is just like, why would the Grammys do that? I don't, I genuinely don't know, and it's also very strange because usually like every year, every album of the year nominee is pretty much offered a chance to perform, um, like pretty much most of the time, and a lot of times every nominee does perform, but they're at least offered, and so it's strange. It's definitely very strange. Um, And so she got pissed about it. She actually mentioned it in a song on Solar Power. She said, "Man in Helen of Troy, I think." She said, "Man in a brown shoes or brown suit won't let me perform." She was pissed about it. Understandably, again, like it's these artists have a right to be pissed at the Grammys because they just do very strange things, and it's honestly still kind of run by like a lot of corrupt people. Um, Despite how much like they like act like they're like doing better than everyone. Um, but so yeah, and then the next day the day after the Grammys, I think she put out an ad in the paper that basically like made fun of the Grammys like for that. I actually don't remember what it said. So again, why research things? I should research things. Burped again. I had to burp again. Um, But she hasn't been nominated since then, so it seems like, oh, like people think she's blacklisted. And I feel like kind of like conspiracy theory mom, like, oh, she's blacklisted, like just like, oh, like accept that she's like not nominated, but like everyone was predicting she'd be nominated for at least like alternative music album. If not more, I actually had her in nominations as a nomination for album. I actually thought she had a good chance of being nominated, and she wasn't nominated for anything. When an artist like Youngblood, no offense to people who love Youngblood, I really don't like Youngblood, and I really don't think he's like real. I have like personal beef with Youngblood. He got nominated like for 4 Grammys, but like it just I think people who like didn't deserve to get nominated. I think a lot worse and a lot less impactful albums got nominated. And I think it should have been at least nominated in the smaller categories. I would have been happy with like 2 nominations. And I think it was understandable when she wasn't nominated for Solar Power. As much as I love that album didn't make a lot of noise. It wasn't like loved by critics. I love that album, and it also took a lot of people a while to understand. So it kind of was understandable. I wasn't really expecting Solar Power to get any nominations, and it didn't. So people weren't even really like crazy about this. It was crazy this year when she didn't get nominated because she had a really big year. She had a really big year. I think her album did very well. It was very critically successful. Her tour has been giant, I think. And her tour was in like prime Grammy voting season, and I think that convinced me that she was going to get. That was like my straw of like, is she's going to get nominated for album because her tour was making so much news in prime Grammy voting season. Like people are just like really back to like loving Lorde, which I think is great, even though tickets are so much more expensive and it's really plaguing me. But I'm happy people love Lorde, and everyone really thought that Lorde would be nominated again. So much so that she's honestly, besides The Weeknd, maybe the most talked about snub of the week. She actually Rolling Stone actually headline, "What was that? Lorde crushed all expectations with Virgin, but that didn't matter to the Academy." Like T, hell yeah, you know what? Hell, because like it's just crazy. And in a sense, I do kind of think she's blacklisted because even though there's like the 13,000 members of the Academy that they love to throw down your throats, I swear they mentioned it like 30 times last year during the ceremony. 13,000 members of the Academy, like, girl, we get it. I still think there's someone overseeing them who like approves the nominations before they get sent out. So in a sense, I think that Lorde might be blacklisted. Like my conspiracy theory, because I just feel like she would have been nominated for like at least alternative music album, if not more. That's just like my thing. But I don't know. Okay. I don't really have much else to say for right now. So I'm gonna talk about one more thing, and then I'm gonna go through some of the nominations for categories I have strong opinions about, and talk about some things that are strange. But I also, lastly, before I do that, I want to talk about Tate McRae. I've been talking for 18 minutes already, but it's why I need to get it out. I'm sorry. Um, Tate McRae. I think it's very interesting how they're dealing with Tate McRae. I really didn't think they were going to go for Tate McRae this year. Um, and I kind of thought they were either going to really go for it or just not go for it at all. I'm burping again. I don't want to edit, so. I really thought that they're really gonna go for Tate McRae or just like not go for her at all, because I thought it was very interesting when she didn't get nominated. I think last year or the year before for anything for Greedy. I think I had Greedy in like my song and my record. I because Greedy was just like such a giant song when it came out. I really thought like Greedy was gonna get some nominations and it got nothing, and she didn't ever get Best New Artist. So I kind of thought the Grammys were gonna give Tate the Ariana treatment, and then I remembered I was seeing Tate in a lot of people's predictions, and I remembered I was like, well, Ariana treatment was like they didn't give her much attention because she had like a really huge album with a lot of critical success, and like critical success is the key because I think My Everything was a huge album, but it didn't like Thank You Next, what I think was her first album, was an album that was really huge, but also like was really like critically loved. I think So Close to What is honestly more of like Tate McRae's My Everything. So maybe I should have thought that through. But they didn't completely ignore Tate McRae, which I think is very interesting. Um, she got nominated for Best Song for Visual Media, I think, and for Best Dance Pop Recording. I'll double check when I'm going through nominations. I know at least Best Dance Pop Recording for Just Keep Watching. It's very interesting to me that they not only Just Keep Watching, but completely ignored the So Close to What album. I thought that it actually had a really good chance of being nominated for Best Pop Vocal Album, and it wasn't. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. And I think it will be interesting to see as Tate McRae's career goes on, um, who, like, what they're gonna do with her. Like, if she does have, like, an Ariana career trajectory where she, like, continues to release albums that, like, she, continues to be, like, a really big pop star and eventually has an album that's, like, really, really critically loved, like Thank You Next and Sweetener was, those are the albums where, um, the Grammys really started to notice Ariana. Like Sweetener was her first Grammy, I think, and Thank You Next. It didn't win any Grammys, I think, but it was nominated for record and song and album and pop vocal. It was really nominated. So wow, shit. Um, it will be interesting to see with her. I don't think she's going to win any of her categories. It's not like a prediction of who's going to win video because that's a whole other long video. But I don't think she's going to win. Um, I think dance pop is like in the hands of Abracadabra, and I think visual media. I don't know actually. It might be in. She might lose it to Ariana. It might be Defying Gravity. I don't know. I need to think about that. Yeah, I'm still like processing the nominations, which is why we're here. But Grammys are weird this year, and that's why like I'm really itching to talk about it because they're just weird this year, and this year actually reminds me a lot of 2020, like when they like snubbing the weekend again. But like 2020, the nominations were just like weird again. Like I think the Grammys didn't really know where they wanted to stand. Like I feel like 2020 was a big year of social change, and the Grammys didn't know where they wanted to, like, what side of that they wanted to be on. And I think the Grammys are struggling in that same way. But I think they actually know more, but they're just being weird about their nominations. So let's go through them and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I have them up on my phone. Sorry. Let's talk. I was burping again. Record. We have DTMF by Bad Bunny. Expected. I think Bad Bunny's going to win a lot this year, and honestly, good for him. I think he deserves it, and I think it's a good year, for him to win. Um, and he's also I think it seems like Bad Bunny. Like I don't want to talk too much about him, but I feel like he honestly like every year it seems like he can't get bigger and better, and he does. So I actually think he has a good chance of winning a lot this year. Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter, that's a given. I love that song. Anxiety by Doechii. This was a song that everyone was predicting, and I was very sad that it wasn't getting nominated in general categories, and it did. So, I'm stupid. Wildflower by Billie Eilish. This is interesting, but not very interesting. People are like, why is this nominated? This album came out last year. It is being pushed as a post-album single, which you can do when you don't win any Grammys for a album 1 year. A lot of people don't do it because they either have another song or they're like sore losers and they just don't want to do it. But I understand, like, I don't think it's going to win anything, but it's interesting. Abracadabra. I can see Abracadabra winning this. People are actually really predicting it could. Same with Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA. Great song. The Subway by Chaperone. I'm surprised that this is nominated in Record of the Year and not Song of the Year. I thought it was going to get nominated in Song of the Year and not Record of the Year. But I'm just glad it's nominated at all. I love that song. And APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. Interesting, expected. I also could see this winning very easily. That song was giant. And I could really see it winning, and I think it would be cool if it did. Album. This was the category that I think was honestly most weird to me in general. Um, we have DTMF by Bad Bunny. I think this is my contender to win right now. We have Swag, but Justin Bieber. I was not expecting them to love Justin Bieber this much this year, and maybe I should have. I just like wasn't. A lot of people were predicting Justin Bieber and like everything, and I was like, I don't think you're gonna love Justin Bieber this year because this album was not nearly as big as Justice, and like people kind of forgot about it. No, they just love Justin Bieber lately. I don't know why. I think this album was fine. It was very like painfully just like fine. I think Daisies is a good fine song, and everything else is just fine. You know, Man's Best Friend by Sabrina Carpenter. I love this album. I don't think it has really much chance of winning as much as I love it. I think Short and Sweet had a much better chance of winning, and so did it. We have Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clips, Pusha T, and Malice. This is the first one that was, I think, very unexpected. I think the only publication to predict this was maybe Billboard. It was, and even like when I read that, I was like, that's like wild. I don't think that's going to get nominated. Um, but like, good for them. Interesting thing is that there's like three or four rap albums an album, which is kind of going to split the votes a little bit, and I think makes it less likely for GNX to win by Kendrick Lamar. But I also think Kendrick Lamar appears like pop people, like voters who are more into pop more. So it's gonna be interesting. But I honestly think DTMF has the best chance of winning right now. Mayhem is another big contender. I think Mayhem, GNX, and DTMF are the big main contenders. That's as expected. GNX is expected. Sorry, burping again. Mutt by Leon Thomas. This was one that was really unexpected, and I think this really shows a lot of signs of him getting nominated for him winning artist, best new artist, and they're kind of giving him the his own like Victoria Monet moment in a sense where he's been a songwriter for years. If you don't know, like he wrote a lot of this stuff on Ariana's first album, which is great, and he also wrote a lot of stuff with SZA, who the Grammys have grown to love, including Snooze, which is like one of his biggest hit. He's been in the industry for a while, doing a lot behind the scenes, and he had his big breakout moment on his own. And he's now nominated for album and artist, which honestly makes him in a contender to win artist in my eyes. And I wouldn't be surprised if he would. And I'd honestly be happy for him because he has been doing so much behind the scenes, and he did have such a big year. Um, I would be like a little sad that like we're like breaking the like 7 years I think where it's been like women winning best new artist. But I think he does deserve it in a lot of ways. But I think best new artist is interesting. We'll get to that. And Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator, which I expected, but I don't think he's gonna win. It's a very good album. I think it honestly would have had a chance if GNX didn't happen. Like it's just like the rap votes are like so. I think a lot of people are gonna vote for each of the rap albums because they're all very good and they all had like impact. So I don't know. I think GNX is definitely still the top category out of the rap albums, and I also think that Kendrick appeals the most to the most amount of people. Um, Song of the Year, Abracadabra. We were expecting that. Anxiety, expecting that. ABT, expecting that. DTMF. Well, I wasn't really expecting anxiety, but expecting that. This was honestly the most predictable category, but this was also an interesting thing to me. I got the Subway and Golden by K-pop 200's confused. I was very sad that Golden was going to win, was not going to win, was going to be nominated for Record of the Year and not Song, and the Subway was nominated for Song and not Record, but it ended up being the complete other way around. But like, cool. Um, Golden Luther. This honestly was like out of the general field categories was the most not confusing. Best new artist. This was also not that confusing. This made a lot of sense in a lot of ways, but there's some. This was in some weird things about it, but this was a very interesting year for best new artist. Is that there is so many people that are like contenders to be nominated, but there's not a very clear front runner and who's going to win. Although I think now Leon Thomas and Cat's Eye are um, big contenders for me now, I'd say. So we have Olivia Dean, which I expected. I felt very smart in my predictions because a while ago Olivia Dean was really not on like people's radars on like who was going to get nominated, and then I was like, why are we not including Olivia Dean? Right before her album came out, and then her album came out, and then everyone started including Olivia Dean in their nominations. And I actually had her as a contender to win, but I also had Raven Lenae as a contender to win, and she didn't get nominated at all, which is crazy, like really fucking crazy, because she had a really big year with Let Me Not and everything, and she's also just like so good. I just like I'm actually ecstatic. I think Raven Lenae should have been here over Somber, but that's because I have beef with Somber. Or over Alex Warren. Hello. Cat's Eye. I was not expecting Cat's Eye. I love Cat's Eye, and I think they're a great group, and I think they're like having it makes sense because they've just been in their name has been in everyone's mouths in a good way. Um, but I thought it was very interesting they got nominated, but I think it's really cool, and I think since they're nominated in pop duo group, they have a good chance of winning this, which I think would be very like interesting direction for the Grammys to go in, but I think it would be cool. Um, then we have the Marias, which was expected. Everyone was predicting that. Addison Rae, which is I'm really great. I'm really happy about that. I love Addison Rae's album. You actually might be able to see if like it's signed on my radio if I sign Addison Rae insert. I love that album. I kind of wish she got nominated for more, but I wasn't expecting her to be nominated for more. I didn't know if she was gonna get nominated for this after she didn't get nominated for any VMAs. I didn't know the Grammys were gonna like be down with Addison Rae, but they were, and I'm glad they were. Somber, I don't really love Somber or beef with him. I think there's people like who should be here like Raven Lenae or Somber, not or like Role Model or like Pink Pantheress. I think the voters just like forgot Pink Pantheress submitted for this because she got nominated in other categories, but not this. Leon Thomas expected and contender to win. Alex Warren, another one is expected. I kind of have him in the same boat as Benson Boone, where like I knew he was gonna be nominated, but I don't think he's gonna win. And I'm glad at least everyone was predicting an ordinary song and record nomination. And I was like, no, he's not going to get any other nominations besides artist. It's going to be like Benson Boone, and I was right. So I felt very, very superiority complex over everyone in the entire world. And then Lola Young, which yeah, Lola Young is also a contender for a lot of people to win. Wow, we're at 32 minutes. I should be faster. I'm sorry. Fuck. It keeps closing. Okay, I'm sorry. Um, Producer of the Year non-classical. I thought this was a very interesting to me because I thought I had this in the bag for nominations. I thought it was going. Thought I was going to go 5 for 5, and I got 0 right. I had like Mike Dean and Jimmy Stack and Jack Antonoff getting nominated, and none of them did. A very very interesting to me. Jack Antonoff's a 3-time winner, so I think they just kind of want to like they don't want to give it to him anymore, or even nominate him anymore. But it's very interesting to me that he didn't get nominated, speaking that he is a main producer on 2 of the Album of the Year nominations and on the one of the biggest Album of the Year contenders, GNX. I think it's very interesting. But we have Dan Auerbach, who was he's part of the Black Keys. He's not on any of the Album of the Year nominees. Circuit, which did this actually makes a lot more sense now I see it because he did Abracadabra and APT and like a lot of Mayhem, which is big categories to win. General Dijon, who he did most of the Justin Bieber album. Blake Mills, who this is very interesting. He did Melancholy Brunettes, Forever Is a Feeling, Glory, and these are all albums that didn't get nominated. I mean, Glory got album cover, and Melancholy Brunettes got engineering, but it didn't get nominated for like any category. So I thought it was very interesting that they nominated him, but like not like the artist that he produced for it and anything. I actually like when I saw this, I was thinking like, oh, we might get a Lucy Dacus or a Japanese Breakfast, an alternative music album or something, but no, we didn't. Um, and some way if we did GNX, which makes sense. Star Year, I didn't even really predict this, so I don't really care. Pop Star Performance. This was a little interesting. Um, Daisies by Justin Bieber. They just decided to love Justin Bieber this year. Man Child, Expected. Disease by Lady Gaga. I wasn't actually expecting Disease, really. Um, sorry, I keep burping. Because I just want to. We have Subway and we have Messy by Lola Young. Interesting that we got Messy by Lola Young and not Wildflower in here. Another thing that's or Cry for me, but we're not going to talk about the weekend anymore because we're talking about them so much. Sorry, that's gross. Um, Interesting. I forgot about That's So True by Gracie Abrams. Got nothing. Hello. I mean, I don't love that song, but it was a really giant song. I think I'm being really annoying in this. Like, oh my god. But like, maybe someone will like it. Um, why am I? Okay, let me stop. That's true. I was actually predicting this for song, record, and pop solo. I got nothing. It's very interesting. The Grammys have a very interesting relationship with Gracie Abrams. They nominated her for Us featuring Taylor Swift, and they nominated her for Artist. And but when she had a giant song, nothing. Pop duo performance, in also very interesting category. You have Defying Gravity, um, which a lot of people were predicting. I wasn't, so maybe I'm just stupid. We have Golden, which I expected. Gabriella by Cat's This very much surprised me, but I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that Cat's got that. APT, which I'm expecting, they're probably going to win this, and 30 for 30, which I also was expecting. Pop vocal album is another interesting thing. We do not have this is a category I thought it was most likely we were going to get So Close to What nomination, and we did not get it. And I almost got this. This is a category I got completely right last year. This year I clearly thought I would again, and I didn't. But I was only off by two. The really weird thing here is Teddy Swims. Teddy Swims being here and not being nominated anywhere else. It's very strange. Like when he was nominated here, I was almost like, are they gonna nominate him for album? Like it's interesting. It's a very interesting take. I'm like kind of surprised it went here. Um, let's see. Dance pop recording. This is a category I love every year. I'm so happy that they introduced this category because I think it lets people who wouldn't normally be big enough to be nominated in the regular pop categories, um, it lets them get nominated. And it got us the first Troye Sivan Grammy nominations. He got nominated for his category twice. And that really brought me joy. And this year, it's bringing us Zara Larson Grammy nominee, and I'm living for it. I'm absolutely living for it. I think she's been working very hard for a lot of years, and I'm really glad that she's getting her moment with this song. And with this, I don't think it's gonna win. I think Abracadabra has this in the bag. Actually, when I saw that Gaga submitted Abracadabra for Dance Pop Recording, I thought that is so smart in her part because it's a guaranteed win. But I think she could have won pop solo too. I think it would have been interesting if she submitted Disease for this and Abracadabra for pop solo because she could have won both. I don't think she's gonna win pop solo now. Oh, we have Bluetooth Flame by Selena Gomez and Blaine Blanco. Blaine Blanco. Interesting because Grammys usually don't love Selena Gomez. Um, oh, Just Keep Watching is here. Like, sure. And Illegal by Pink Pantheress. Legal is also in Dance Electronic Album. Actually, it's winning now, and I think it's really cool. It's very interesting that Grammys ignored Pink Pantheress for the Boys a Liar year, which didn't even give her like pop duo, and they ignored her for Best New Artist this year and that year, and I think last year too. But now they just decided to nominate her in these categories. But like, you know what? Sure, great, I love her, and she's been working really hard and doing amazing. And this album is I think my favorite from her. So yes, hell yes. And we have Usexual by FKH Twigs. I actually am surprised Usexual isn't in like more or in like dance electronic song or like dance pop recording or something, but I'm glad she got something. Oh, Haley Williams. That's lovely. I don't have anything else to say besides I think it's lovely that Haley Williams got her nominations. Um, okay, alternative categories. These all made sense except for the absence of Lord. At least I mean it would have made I would have kind of understood if David wasn't in alternative music performance, but alternative music album not having Lord makes no sense to me. But that's why I think she's kind of blacklisted. But it also was like a stacked category this year. But I do think she's blacklisted, and I do think she should have been nominated. I do think she should have won. Like everyone was predicting she was going to be nominated, and she wasn't. Um, a lot of people submitted for alternative music album this year that don't. This was surprising. Like Kali Uchis did. And Tyler the Creator did, and he ended up getting nominated. And I wonder if it's because they think it's easier to get nominated. Um, and in a sense, it is easier than like the pop categories. But it's very interesting that Don't Have the Glasses in here. I think it would have honestly been. It could have been like in like dance electronic. Although I actually haven't heard a lot of it, so I can't say that. But I think it's like not really. I don't know. It's like interesting that it's here, but like sure. Like hell yeah. I don't think he's gonna win, but I actually don't know what's gonna win. I'm putting my bets on Sable Fable or Haley Williams. And I hope it's Haley Williams. But it'd be interesting to see what the reaction would be if Tyler wins, because a lot of people are like reacting that like Tyler being nominated is crazy. Um if I could take anything out of this, I would take out Wet Leg. And it's no beef with Wet Leg. I just like don't really understand their music, and I don't think this album. I understood it a little bit more in their first album because I feel like they had a really big moment with that. I don't think this album had like a big moment. Definitely not as big as Virgin by Lord. So I think we should have had Lord here instead of Wet Leg. But I'm not surprised. Grammys love Wet Leg. I'm still a little also annoyed that they won over Big Thief like 2 years ago. But I don't think they're gonna win this year. Although they could. I wasn't expecting them to win that year. A lot of people are annoyed about Yukon by Justin Bieber being R&B performance. I don't like that song. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of annoyed too. I why are we still nominating Chris Brown? Like, just like why are we doing that? Flo getting nominated in progressive R&B album. Right after like people stopped liking them on Twitter is very interesting to me. We got Leon Thomas stuff. I think he's gonna win something. Leon Thomas is gonna win something. I'm putting that bet in now. Let's see. I don't think there's really much else to say. I just wanted to talk about everything. um. Oh, music. I think Abracadabra not getting nominated for music video is very strange, but like whatever. I hope Manchild gets that. It's like well, go watch that music video if you haven't. It's like my favorite music video ever. Um. um. But yeah, I don't have much else to say. Um. I think. Yeah. So that was me ranting about um Grammy nominations. If you're still here after 40 minutes, I hope you enjoyed, and I'm really sorry. I don't know if anyone's gonna watch this, and that's okay. It's really for me. It's really for me to get it out and like just like talk to like an audience. So like you feel me? Yeah. And that's how I am. I feel free. I feel free and I'm loving it. Yes! Okay. I'm sorry. I'll stop talking now. I love you all. T.